fade into darkness. Won't let you fade into darkness. Why worry now? You'll be safe. Hold my hand, just in case. And we won't fade into darkness. No, we won't fade into darkness.
Look at the live guys. Up right now, enjoy it. Listening to Molly, trying to be awesome. Got like one more minute to that's everybody doing with the talk. YouTube, Twitch, X, thank you guys so much. Appreciate all you guys. I'm gonna go over a couple more things. Of course, tonight's video, so this is just a little bit of YouTube and that's my artist that I like.
Get up by my tripod. I've been selling classes like a fifth grade. Really never made no difference with the champagne. Sappy told me I'm passing how to maintain. We get that money back and spend it on the same thing. Running through these streets till I pass out. The shorty give me neck till I pass out. Until my niggas learn to keep it home. Bitch caught a body by the
Tomorrow, my name is Nicky Romero. We are here.
We have, it's going to be kind of like a complex thing of two videos, two from Farzad, one from Brighter with Herbert. As I said, I listen to these channels a lot, try to get some information out of them, and then kind of compartmentalize what I took out of the video. So let me just pull up the screen here on what we're going to be watching, which would be this one. So it's a pretty short video. It's only 12 minutes long, so I'll go over it and then we can kind of discuss from what's going on with this.
Think automation is just about factories and self-driving cars? Think again. Tesla isn't just building robots, they're orchestrating a silent revolution. We're diving deep into the less discussed strategies and profound implications of Tesla's secret robotic ambitions, revealing how they plan to fundamentally change our world, one automation at a time. Tesla has long been at the forefront of artificial intelligence through its automotive innovations, particularly with full self-driving technology, which relies heavily on a vision-based approach. This system uses cameras and neural networks.
So this is what I've been talking about, guys, the difference between Tesla and everybody else. Okay. So as you can see on the screen over here, it's really relying on cameras and neural nets, which is like a brain, and that AI brain is training the cars on how to drive. And I think Farzad explains it really well in this video, just to see the difference between a LiDAR system and a vision only based camera system with neural nets being trained through video AI. Okay. This is where I want you guys to see the difference and do your own research on the difference between the two technologies. Okay. So let's just get into it just a little bit more.
Works to interpret the world around the vehicle, processing vast amounts of visual data to make real-time decisions on navigation, obstacle avoidance, and path planning. As of mid-2025, Full Self-Driving Supervised version 13.2.9 has achieved significant milestones, with deployments expanding to regions like the United States, Canada, China, Mexico, and Puerto Rico, and plans for further international rollout. The software now...
So that's a good point, right? So there are more regions that it's going to be doing, right? So I don't know if you guys have seen some of the full self-drive videos that Tesla has been dropping online with different parts of the region, right? So you have Japan was, I think, the newest one that was out. Australia, that they had that. And you got to remember, Japan, Australia, and England are all right-hand drive cars, okay? So not only can it do a left-hand drive car, which is majority is in the United States, Canada, Mexico, Europe too, in some region, or I think most regions in Europe. Because I know when I went to Paris, it was a right-hand drive car, or left-hand drive car. So those regions are getting very much exposure to FSD, right? So you guys just can't just think that, oh, it only works in the United States and whatnot. You can see videos of it intervention-free through Japan and through Australia and all these different regions that they're doing, okay? So don't just think that it only happens here in the United States. The reason why it's happening here in the United States, obviously, is because it's going to fast track because of the fact that it's here in the US, right? So everybody can say like regulation is going to slow us down. It could be the case, right? It could be the case. But I think if they take over California first, right? I think if they show California, we have the data, here's the data, you guys are monitoring the data on top of that. So it's not only just them doing it, but it's just the state regulators doing it too. That can make a big difference, right? It can make a huge difference to give them the green light to go ahead and move on to the next step. So remember, as I said, California has a safety driver right now. They got to show data, then they'll have a safety monitor, show data, and then they can move on to having nobody being behind the wheel with level 4 autonomy, even though I don't care about the chart really. The chart really doesn't matter to me in this chart of that they have out, which has Tesla dead last, which is funny. So let's go ahead and continue with the video so you guys can see the difference between neural nets and LiDAR, okay?
Handles complex urban environments with improved accuracy. This vision focus eliminates the need for additional sensors like radar or LiDAR in many scenarios, simplifying hardware while enhancing software capabilities through continuous learning. This breakthrough has allowed Tesla to launch a driverless ride-hail network in Austin, Texas as of June 2025. This network leverages the same FSD technology that anyone can buy today, but because of improvements from their AI expertise, the company has now removed a person from the driver's seat and will soon be operating without human supervision in the car, transitioning the company from supervised autonomy to unsupervised. These automotive AI breakthroughs serve as a better...
So that is a pretty good difference that Farzad just said right there, okay? Currently, right now, it is a supervised FSD, right? So that supervised FSD is having specifically somebody being behind the wheel monitoring at all times. Yes, it's just a step in the direction that it's going to take, okay? I think that we are close to when V14 comes out, I think that's going to be the first step into having a system where it's unsupervised, right? I think that could be the very big case in point where that could be unsupervised, and then we can really start to see that autonomy is really going to start to take off. Okay, if autonomy starts to be unsupervised in that canter of just V14 is the next step, which is going to be a huge step, because I remember from V12 to V13 was a huge step, right? You could totally feel the difference in that step program, and I think it's going to be the same way that we are going to experience 13 into 14. Okay, so let's just keep going with the video. Thank you for the hat, guys. Thank you for the hat.
Bedrock for Tesla's expansion into robotics. This shift towards massive investment in Optimus, the humanoid robot, stems from a recognition that the same principles powering self-driving cars can extend to embodied AI. In early 2025, Tesla announced targets for mass production of Optimus. The reports indicate delays in reaching 5,000 units by year-end, with prototypes of Generation 3 expected instead, and full-scale production ramping up in 2026. The investment goes beyond mere factory automation, where robots traditionally handle repetitive assembly line tasks. Instead, Tesla envisions Optimus as a versatile platform that leverages the company's expertise in AI to tackle broader applications. This pivot
So, as you can see, I think that's what's going to happen, right? I think once they start to solve for the car, right? Once they solve for the car, you can literally take that brain of the car, pull it out, and then put it into Optimus, right? Because I think it's going to be just the same concept for that matter. So if that is the case, then that is much easier for it to transition to that, from the car to the bot. Okay, so this is where I say that the car is the most important that we have right now, because it just leads to the gateway for Optimus. So that's what my opinion is. And Optimus is already showing really good progress in that. I mean, I've seen it dance on some YouTube videos. So it's only a matter of time until those things start walking among us. And I predict it's going to be next year that they will start doing limited amounts. And I think they'll be in the factories more. They are currently already in the factory in Fremont. I don't know about Austin, but I know for sure that they're already in Fremont doing some minuscule tasks, like taking a battery out of a tray and putting it onto another tray at the end of the line for batteries. Okay, so let's go.
reflects a strategic foresight. As electric vehicles' margins stabilize, robotics represents a new growth frontier with potentially unlimited scale. Elon Musk has emphasized in recent communications that Optimus could become a personal companion, akin to iconic droids from science fiction, performing tasks in homes and offices.
Good
The
job.
developmental path involves iterative improvements, with Optimus 2.5 showing enhanced walking gait that mimic human strides more naturally,
Yes.
as demonstrated in April 2025.
That they will allow us to put our cars on the network, beat the odds, right? I know that they will let us put it on the network. The question is when, right? My opinion, I think it's going to be at the end of 2026. That is just my opinion. That's why I have 6 Teslas, because I'm willing to throw all of them on the network. Unfortunately, this is my opinion again. I think hardware 3 cars, so which is mid 2024s and previous models, are not going to be able to do it. It's sad that it won't, but Elon did say that they would either upgrade the cars, right? If you bought it outright, you can get a free upgrade. I don't know what that upgrade entails. I don't know if that's going to be, say, a level a AI 4 or AI 5 or AI 6 chip. I just have no idea. Okay, so that's great that you placed your first order too on a white Model Y long range rear-wheel drive. Good job, Nick. Hopefully you get it by September 30th so you can get the tax credit, or the tax. I always say the point of sale credit. How will the charging work, El Chapo? So I think there's 3 ways that the charging will be when Robotaxi hits. Number 1 is that we retrofit all the cars to have wireless charging, like the Cybercab when it comes out. That's one way of charging. 2 is either have human attendants at specific charging stations designated only for Robotaxi. And then my third and final one, it will be Optimus. I really think Optimus will be the end all be all gatekeeper at the end of this. When they can scale up this guy and he can just stay at the fact or at those supercharging stations. And remember, there's over 30,000 in the United States. So imagine having at least 2 robots per supercharging station, putting the plug in, pulling the plug out, and then going back into like its charging station and doing it. So those are my 3 scenarios that I have in my business plan. I think the first one's going to be human attendance. Second one will be Optimus, and then the third one I think will be wireless charging if you want to retrofit. That's just my 3 examples that I have. I mean, if you guys have anything else, yeah, that would be cool, right? Can you imagine Optimus just coming and unplugging your car and plugging it back in, and you can see it through your cameras when you're monitoring your car for robotaxi? It'll be nuts. It's literally like iRobot all over. It's like that's how it reminds me of with iRobot. So congrats to everybody who got. Make sure you guys get your Tesla, right? If you guys got to get it and take delivery before September 30th. Before that EV tax credit goes out, I am trying to get 2, maybe 3 more Model Ys to my fleet before then. Working on that to try to figure out how I can free up more credit in order for me to get 2 to 3 more cars to have a total of either 7, 8, or 9 cars. Okay. Only one of them has hardware 3, which is my 2020 Tesla Model Y, as the only one that has the hardware 3 version. Okay. So again, that's just my opinion on the 3 things I'm charging. Okay. So that's why I'm just trying to get everybody educated on this subject to where we have to merge with AI or become one with AI, because this is where we're heading to. Card declines after charging. He going to stand in front of your car until you pay up. That would be hilarious, right? Can you imagine him just being the Terminator saying you're not going anywhere? Where you park all those Teslas? That's a good question, JP. So I believe that you can either bring all those cars, or where do I park them? Well, mine are being rented out by other people, so that's different for me. But let's just say, for example, if you do have a fleet of 10 or 20 Teslas, I would hope that you have enough room somewhere on your street in order to park them. I'm trying to get properties in the specific areas that I have that are going to be in my robotaxi network. So to give you a good example, my business plan calls for being in 5 states, maybe 6. Okay. So I want to be in Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Florida, and then Pennsylvania, up in that East Coast, Northeast Coast region. The reason is because the East Coast is very busy. That's where a majority of the population is at, is on that East Coast, east of the Mississippi, and in that Northeast quadrant. So I want to have at least 8 cars, 5 to 8 cars in that specific region. Okay. So my goal is to have 40 cars, 40 cars, 40 cars. I would hate to be the neighbor of the guy that owns that. Yeah, I would probably think so too. Unless I get a big enough house, right, Ricky? If I get in a big enough house to even put them on, then you won't even care, right? But it would actually be 8 in those specific areas. So my goal is this, guys. My goal is to have them in the specific cities, right? So Las Vegas, Reno, Tucson, Phoenix, Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. Florida can be anywhere. You can go up to Fort Lauderdale. You can go to Miami. You can go to Orlando. You can go to Tallahassee. So I want to be spread out in Florida. And maybe even if they want to, they can actually go up to Atlanta and Savannah, right? And then they can go up to Tennessee, which is Nashville. They go to Pennsylvania. So, and then New York and Vermont and Fremont, like in that kind of region is where I'm trying to do. Okay. So that's just my game plan of what I'm trying to do. Just trying to stay ahead of the game, because what happens, this is a scenario that I came up with too. What happens if Tesla just closes down all of the ordering for us as consumers to buy Tesla vehicles, and like, hey, we're just going to put them all on the network, and you guys are just going to have to just, to forget about getting a Tesla vehicle unless it's used. The reason is, right, if you look at it from Tesla's point of view, I used to do Turo with the Cybertruck, but not anymore. But if you think about it from Tesla's point of view, right, if I can sell one vehicle for $4,000 or $5,000 profit to you as the consumer, right, or I can make that vehicle, throw it on the robotaxi network, and have Tesla have its own fleet of cars, and they just do it themselves, making $30, $40, $50,000 a year per car. What incentive does that give Tesla to not make that decision, right? You guys have to also think about that, is that or orders can just be so rampant from us trying to buy them and purchase them and put them on the network that now they have to price increase, right? They have to price increase in order to get that backlog on who wants to pay the highest price per that vehicle. On top of that, who doesn't say that they don't raise the full self-drive subscription or one-time fee? My prediction in my business model is that there's 3 different types of full self-drive. First, you have autopilot, which is standard on every car, and that's free. Keeps you in the center of the lane of the freeway, stop and go traffic that does all the braking and acceleration. My second one will be a supervised full self-drive, which is you have to be behind the wheel. You still have to pay attention slightly a little bit, but you have to pay attention. But the third one will be unsupervised FSD, aka robotaxi. And I think that that's where the 3 tier is going to come from, right? So imagine autopilot is free. Let's say supervised FSD finally goes up to, say, instead of $99 a month, now it's $199 a month, right? Now let's say unsupervised comes out. Now let's say unsupervised is now $499 or $599 per month, right? Do you guys want to pay that $400 or $500 a month to put it on robotaxi? I would, but luckily I just pay the one-time fee of $8,000 per all my cars. So I'm grandfathered in, right? So you guys just have to take a look at it in that perspective. I do love the cars. I do love to drive them, but I just love to be driven around now in that sense. That's just me. I mean, other people say that they love to drive. I get comments on it all the time from my videos. Hey, Rob, Tesla Rob, I like to drive. I rather drive instead. That's fine. You go ahead and drive. I just don't want to anymore because I'm just so spoiled. So that's what my scenario is with all this, with robotaxi coming into play. And I'm just trying to kind of spread the word out and try to get everybody aware of the situation on what is transforming between us. Okay. Shaquille, what's good, brother? I answered your message with the seat covers that you were talking about on Amazon. Takes about an hour to put on. That's what's currently in all the videos that you see of mine, guys. I do have seat covers on there because of the Do Rod Share. I'm happy that you get your Y in a few weeks. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being part of the Tesla family, and hopefully that you go far with that car and it makes you money in the longer term. Okay. All right. So let's get back to the video, guys, on Optimus over
here. Videos where the robot navigates confidently without the stiffness of prior models. Optimus 3 promises even greater agility, approaching that of an agile human, including capabilities like running or quick directional changes. This progression hints at a deeper play, building a robot that not only augments manufacturing but integrates into daily life, creating a symbiotic ecosystem with Tesla's other technologies. Optimus stands apart from traditional industrial robots due to its general-purpose design philosophy, which prioritizes adaptability over specialization. Industrial bots, like those used in automotive welding or packaging, are engineered for specific, repeatable actions in controlled environments, often bolted to the floor with limited mobility. Optimus, however, is built as a bipedal humanoid, measuring about 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighing around 125 pounds, with 28 actuators enabling fluid movement. This form factor allows it to operate in spaces designed for humans, using tools and interfaces meant for people without requiring environmental modifications. The core challenges in developing such a robot revolve around dexterity, navigation in unstructured environments, and seamless human-robot interaction. Dexterity involves fine motor skills, where Optimus's hands feature 11 degrees of freedom each, soon 22, allowing for precise grasping of objects ranging from delicate eggs to heavy tools. Recent demonstrations in 2025 show Optimus folding laundry, sorting batteries, and even pouring liquids, tasks that demand tactile feedback and adaptive force application. Tesla addresses this through integrated sensors that provide haptic information, combined with AI models trained to predict and adjust grip strength based on object properties. Navigation in unstructured environments presents another hurdle, as homes or offices lack the predictability of factories. Here, Optimus draws from Full Self-Driving's vision system, using onboard cameras to map surroundings in real time, avoiding obstacles like furniture or people. The robot employs...
So remember, guys, this is just like us, right? in any kind of new scenario that we as humans, like out in the real world, we adapt and we kind of survey the land, right? We gotta just make sure that we are, taking everything all into us, into our brain, and kind of realizing, hey, can I walk this way? Can I do this way? Is it hot? Is it cold? The terrain, you're monitoring every situation that you have. Okay. How many you got Teslas? Like 7? I got 6 Teslas, 5 Model Ys, 1 Cyber Beast, all white vehicles, except for one is gray, but I had to take it because it was a free color. But try to get 1, 2, or 3 more by the end of September. So, and I'm strictly using my car strictly just for Robotaxi. That's it. When it comes out, they will be on the network 100% of the time. I'm not joking when I say 100% of the time. If I have to go to work or do something, I will summon my car back to me. It'll take me from point A to point B, and then drop me off at point A, right? Let it go back out, make money, then come pick me back up, drop me back off at wherever I wanted to go, and then send it back off again. Or I just get a really crappy gas-powered vehicle or ride a motorcycle. Either one. But that's my plan. 100% on the network all the time, 24/7, making me money. I don't even care if it makes me, say, $200 a day. Think about that, right? If your Tesla is out there 24/7, makes $200 a day times 30 days, that's $6,000. And I got a 50% take rate. That includes, when I say take rate, 50%, that means after I subtract supercharging, insurance, maintenance, cleaning, car washing, etc., then I say that it will be 50% that I keep out of that. So that's $3,000 a month. 3,000 times 12 is $36,000 a year. It almost pays the car off. Almost. Well, halfway a little bit. Okay. Will we be able to go on the network? I believe that we will be able to go on the network. And how much will we keep and how much will we owe? So when I say the 50% take rate, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's subtracting insurance, it's subtracting Tesla's fee, I think Tesla will take anywhere between a 20 to 25% fee. So 75% comes to us. So I think after all is said and done, it makes $200 in gross. That's what I estimated in my conservative. That's my conservative number of being on the network 24/7. Okay. But that $200 a day in gross times 30 is $6,000. Divide that by 2 for 50% is $3,000 in net profit you get from the car. Even if your car payment is $1,000 a month, you just paid the car payment on top of that, and you keep $2,000, right? So that's just my opinion on my numbers that I have. So that if you take one vehicle, you have it $200 a day, a gross, right? Times 30 is $6,000 a month. That's gross. Now you subtract Tesla's fee, right? Supercharging, if there's any, insurance, car washing, cleaning, etc., that goes for that month. My prediction is that it's a 50% that you keep out of that $6,000. That's after everything costs. Because one thing is that you don't have to pay a human driver. That's the whole concept. No human labor. It's just strictly the car driving itself with nobody in it. That's human labor is the biggest cost structure in any business. You eliminate the human labor, your profits soar. Okay. So that's why I'm just trying to figure that conservative number, right? How much do you make weekly with your Model Y? So I currently make anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500 a week when I drive on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And that ranges anywhere between 40 to 48 hours in that week. And I do not do it by the hourly rate that I'm out there for. I do it by the cost per mile. Okay. So if I driven, say, let's say 200 miles on Thursday, I'm hoping to get either a 1.5% to 2% or to $2 a mile. That'll give me to the $350 to $400 range per day. My goal is to get $1,000 per week, and then that is just strictly extra money for me to throw into the business in any way that I see shape, form. Because my other full-time job that I have, working for a major Fortune 500 company, I make enough money to where that satisfies bills plus more. So the extra work that I do at the end of the week for rideshare is all extra money to spend for me to throw in my business. So technically, I only have one day off in the month, and that's when my wife comes in and sees me from Cali. That I only take that one day off. That's it. One day off. 29 to 30 days out of the other month, I am working nonstop trying to figure out how to weigh. That includes video editing. I do all my video edits by myself. I'm getting content on that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Even when I go into work, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, to and from work, I make a video talking to Grok. Okay. Did security to Chunky making $120,000 every day while studying a master's in cybersecurity. Good job, Adam. Just keep it up. That hustle is hard, bro. Like you just got to keep hustling like we both do right there. So a 3K profit a month, you can literally go buy 2 more cars and have them paid for those. Yes, you can definitely do that, Shaquille. But here's my plan, right? Let's say, for example, Robotaxi's live. Okay, it's end of 2026, Q4. Okay, Q4. Robotaxi is live now. Okay. Robotaxi is live. I am throwing my cars on the network, all of them. Boom, 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 boom. All of them are on the network, right? After 3 months of showing positive cash flow, right? Let's say I keep them on there 24/7. Now I'm going to take the same thing, right? $200 a day, make $6,000 gross. That's $18,000. So let's do the math here. And let's say I'm just going to say that I have the 6 vehicles that I have now. Okay. So let's say 6,000 times my 6 vehicles. That's $36,000, right? 36,000 per car, right? Or for the cars, right? 36,000 for the month times 3 is $108,000 in gross. Okay. So let's divide that by 2 because 50% rate. So that's $54,000 in net profit. I will take all that money and try to go get an SBA loan for $1 or $2 million. That's because now I'm showing positive cash flow, guys, right? I'm showing positive cash flow and I want to free up these cars more, right? I either want to pay them off and make more, or I want to get more. That's what we call good debt, is where I'm going to take that more debt from the SBA and go get more cars, right? So imagine, let's just say if I get a $2 million loan, okay? $2 million loan. Let's divide that by 60,000. Let's just say that's with the car and everything, with taxes, fees, whatever, right? I'm kind of highballing that. That's 33 more cars I can go get. I will be on the safe side and probably do 30 cars in that realm. So now my fleet of 6 cars just became 36. Okay. My goal is 40. So, and each of those cars are now making $6,000 a month gross, right? And you got to remember, let's just say, for example, rideshare is not doing good. Okay. Rideshare is not doing good. It's not doing as good as well as we thought, right? Now food delivery comes in. So imagine you're a Uber Eats or DoorDash driver, and then all of a sudden, now Tesla is getting into the business of doing food deliveries, right? So your car can actually probably jump back and forth if it's going slow and maybe just shift over, or you have all the above checked off that Tesla might do. Oh, now you can do food delivery. Open up the frunk. I did food delivery for a little bit. The frunk is the best place to put all that food, right? There's plenty of space in there. Car gets there, pops the frunk, boom. Customer comes and grabs it out, closes the front, car goes on. My 4 predictions on money making through robotaxi will be the following: 1, rideshare; 2, food delivery; 3 is inference. It's using the compute power in the car to help train AI, and you get paid off that energy that that compute power is using. Okay. And then my fourth one will be package delivery. Now, there could be 1 of 2 scenarios with the package delivery, right? There could be a, hey, Trey, what's up? There could be, one is either it'll be just like the food delivery, right? Where your package is there at a specific part of the car. They grab their package, they close it, they say to the signal on the app, okay, you're good, closes the front, closes the trunk, goes to the next package. Or you can have Optimus robot in your car, and then he delivers the packages for you. Yes, I mean, it's a crazy concept that I have thought about almost every scenario on what this car could potentially do. You have to, in this entrepreneur mindset, you have to think of every little quirk that this car could potentially make you money, or Optimus make you money, right? Because can you imagine? My goal is to do this: is to have a fleet full of autonomous vehicle cars and an army full of robots. That's my motto. So that's just how I think is the direction that we're heading, right? So Optimus to the moon. That's right, Trey. That's right. So that is kind of my business ideas and steps that I'm trying to take here, right? I'm trying to show you or tell you what I'm doing, right? And it's not financial advice. I'm just giving you what I'm doing and trying to predict, right? Every entrepreneur or inventor takes risk, right? Jeff Bezos took a risk. I mean, Elon Musk took a risk with Tesla. I don't know if you remember this, back in 2008, he almost went bankrupt and had to put a lot of his money into Tesla. I think it was his last $40,000 or something like that. So let me get this going here so we can watch the video and then kind of go from there.
Simultaneous localization and mapping techniques, building 3D models of its environment while moving, much like how Tesla vehicles navigate roads. In tests, Optimus has traversed uneven terrain and crowded spaces, adjusting its path dynamically. Human-robot interaction ensures safety and intuitiveness, with Optimus running a Grok voice assistant for natural language commands. Users can instruct it verbally, such as asking it to fetch items or perform chores, and the robot responds with contextual understanding derived from large language models. This integration fosters trust, as the robot can explain its actions or seek clarification, reducing the learning curve for operators. These capabilities tie into a vision where robots handle everyday tasks beyond manufacturing. Imagine Optimus assisting in households by cooking meals, cleaning, or caring for the elderly, freeing humans to creative pursuits. In commercial settings, it could stock shelves in stores or manage inventory in warehouses, adapting to varying layouts. By 2025, prototypes have demonstrated over 500 tasks per day, from simple chores to complex sequences, signaling a shift towards ubiquitous automation that enhances productivity across sectors. Tesla's advantage in robotics stems from its vast data moat, accumulated through years of real-world operations. The company's fleet of over 6 million vehicles has logged trillions of miles, generating petabytes of driving data that captures diverse scenarios, from rainy highways to bustling city streets. This data trains full self-driving neural networks, teaching them to recognize patterns, predict behaviors, and make decisions under certainty. Crucially, this data transfers directly to Optimus. The vision models honed for cars adapt to robotic perception, where understanding visual cues like identifying a door handle or navigating stairs mirrors interpreting traffic signs or pedestrians. Tesla's end-to-end neural networks, which process raw camera inputs to output controls, apply similarly to Optimus, mapping visuals to motor commands. In 2025 updates, Elon Musk highlighted how Optimus uses simulated dreams via generative models to augment training, creating virtual scenarios that accelerate learning without physical risks. The fleet learning concept amplifies this edge. In vehicles, each Tesla contributes data back to the cloud, where Dojo processes the information to improve the shared model, then pushes updates to all cars. Applied to robots, every Optimus deployment gathers experiences, successful grasps, navigation errors, or interaction nuances, and feeds them into a central system. This creates a virtuous cycle. One robot learning to fold a specific garment type enhances all others instantly via over-the-air updates. As production scales to potentially 1 million units by late 2030, the data volume explodes, enabling rapid evolution. This data lead forms an insurmountable barrier for competitors. Startups like Figure or Boston Dynamics lack Tesla's scale. Their robots train on limited datasets, often simulated or lab-based. Tesla's real-world exposure, combined with vertical integration from chip design to software, ensures efficiency. For example, Dojo's custom architecture handles video data 10 times faster than off-the-shelf GPUs, per 2025 benchmarks. Hypothesizing further, if competitors attempt to catch up, they need years to amass comparable data, by which time Tesla's network effect would have widened the gap, dominating the market like it has with electric vehicles. Tesla's ecosystem weaves together energy solutions, AI infrastructure, and robotics into a cohesive whole. Tesla energy products, such as Powerwall and Megapacks, provide scalable storage that could support a robot-filled future. Powerwall, a home battery with 13.5 kilowatt-hour capacity, integrates solar energy for efficient charging. Deployments reach record highs, with 31.4 gigawatt-hours installed globally in 2024, doubling from the prior year. Megapack, designed for utility scale, stores up to 3.9 megawatt-hours per unit, stabilizing grids for large facilities. In a world of widespread robots, charging infrastructure becomes critical. Optimus, with its 2.3 kilowatt-hour battery offering hours of operation, would require ubiquitous access to power. Tesla's energy product.
So you see on how much Tesla is integrated so much, right? So you have Powerwall, solar, humanoid robots, you have battery storage, battery refining from the new lithium ion plant in Texas. So there's plenty of, as you can see, fully integration that it does between Tesla, right? So this is where they are so vertically integrated that they rely on themselves, right, in order for them to accomplish things. Okay, so let's just keep going.
Products enable this. Homes with Powerwalls could charge robots overnight using stored solar energy, reducing grid strain. On a larger scale, factories or robot fleets might use Megapacks for high-capacity charging stations, ensuring continuous uptime. This synergy creates self-sustaining loops where robots maintain energy systems, installing panels or monitoring batteries while drawing power from them. Robots communicate via Tesla's cloud, sharing insights in real time. For instance, one Optimus learning a new task in a warehouse updates the fleet, propagating efficiency gains. This could evolve into a global mesh where
I call it the copy and paste theory. If one is being successful in doing a specific project or task, then you just copy and paste it to the neural nets, and then you can actually send that out to the other robots who specifically are tasked to do that same job. So iRobot is among us.
where energy, AI, and robots optimize each other. Powerwalls adjust based on robot schedules, Dojo refines models from collective data, and robots adapt to energy availability, forming a resilient, adaptive ecosystem that maximizes utility. Widespread adoption of affordable general-purpose robots like Optimus promises to reshape labor, leisure, and daily life profoundly. Robots could automate mundane, dangerous jobs, boosting productivity. In manufacturing, Optimus deployments in Tesla factories by late 2025 have increased efficiency by 25%, handling repetitive tasks with precision. This extends to...
So this is where Optimus is going to show their testing in the factories around the country and around the world. I think they will, well, they already are in Fremont. They're in Cato and in Palo Alto, and I think they're in Fremont too, like the Fremont factory, because they have that, and then Cato Road, which is like their batteries down the street. So that is where they are going to do the complex task of things, and trying to see, it's their testing ground, right? They're going to try to see on how much they can do for Optimus in that realm, right? Tic Tac, it's a new video that's released by Farzad. So I'm just kind of going over what he did and just commenting on that, just so you guys are aware of what we are heading into. And thank you guys for joining the live too. I appreciate it.
Sectors like agriculture, where robots harvest crops tirelessly, or construction, assembly structures safely. Globally, studies suggest automation could displace up to 800 million jobs by 2030, but also create new roles in robot maintenance, programming, and oversight, shifting the workforce towards higher skilled positions. Leisure would expand as robots handle chores, granting more time for personal pursuits. Families might enjoy cleaner homes and prepared meals without effort, enhancing quality of life. In healthcare, robots assist with patient care, monitoring vitals or aiding mobility, allowing professionals to focus on complex diagnoses. Daily life transforms with robots as companions. Optimus, priced potentially at $10,000 to $20,000 for Generation 3, becomes accessible, performing tasks like tutoring children.
So when they say that price of 10 to 20,000, it is just specifically for the bot, right? Now, here's where it comes into play, where it's like an app store that they're going to do, right? They are going to say, hey, you want to be a caretaker? It's $100 a month for that program. Just like you download an app, right? You download an app and then you have to pay a subscription on that app. It's going to be the same concept, except with tasks with Optimus that it's doing, right? Cooking, cleaning, caretaking, babysitter, teacher, and that can go from preschool, elementary, middle, and high school and college. It could do it all. You really won't have to send your child at that point to a university, because Optimus has all the information and can do a whole curriculum on it and say, these are the real world kind of things that you need to be taught, right? That could be better than a human. Or some people might still want to go and do the human interaction with colleges. I mean, only time will tell with that, right? So let's just keep going with this video.
Or accompanying the elderly. Elon Musk envisions everyone owning at least one, personalizing experiences through AI. Yet challenges arise. Ethical considerations include ensuring robots operate safely, with fail-safes preventing harm. Job displacement necessitates reskilling programs and policies like universal basic income to mitigate inequality. New economic models might...
And this is where people are very scared. Very, very wary. And I don't blame you for being very wary on this, because us as humans, we have always thought about our purpose in life is work, right? That's what drives us. We make money from it. That is how we survive, right? Now imagine Optimus is out and it's just creating so much, a hyper abundance of goods and services, right? Everything you can get is cheap now. Imagine like I always say the box of cereal, right? Imagine getting a box of cereal that's $5, right? $5 for a box of cereal right now. I'm just giving you kind of like a lesson, right? Almost like, let's see if this can be true. Box of cereal costs $5. Now Optimus is in play. Now that goes 24/7 in that factory, making that specific cereals or multiple cereals. Now that box of cereal costs 50 cents. Right? Imagine that your rent, your car payment, your insurance, your groceries, your utilities, your anything you can think of is a hyper abundance of goods and services, to where that universal basic income, UBI, is now taking care of all of your bills, and you still have more. What would you do? That is freedom. To me, that's freedom. But some people, it's like, oh God, I don't know if I can live in a type of world of like that. Then there's going to be one of two ways, right? Either Congress is going to have to make legislation saying that that you can only have an X amount of robots per an X amount of humans. But then what does that do for the labor force, right? And then what does that do to wages? See, there are so many tricky scenarios when this happens and occurs, right? People need to find a new purpose in life soon, just like you do, creating content. Yeah, so that's like my thing, right? So imagine this, just imagine this world, please, please, please. Just imagine this. That now Optimus is now in full effect, right? What are you going to do for your day? I'll tell you what I'll do, okay? I will play golf a round of 18 holes. I will go to the gym for an hour or two. Then I will go and DJ. I want to learn how to DJ. That's my hobby. And then the fourth thing is watch TV with my wife. My wife and I love to watch TV shows. All the good cheeseman ones like 90 Day Fiance, Married at First Sight, all of those shows. My wife and I love to see, right? Then I get to spend more time with my wife. Then I get to spend more time with my kids. Then I get to go travel, right? I mean, I just got back. I just traveled to London, and I traveled to London and Paris, right? And I was at London and Paris for 10 days, and I went to go see Sabrina Carpenter at Hyde Park in London. Fucking great concert, loved it. And got VIP tickets and everything. It was the Hyde VIP Hideaway. Great show. Then we went to Paris and saw all the monuments there, from the Eiffel Tower to the museum to the Louvre to the Palace of Versailles. We saw all of that. And then it opened my mind to where this world is so big and so massive, and I want to see every inch if I can of it. Well, that could come true in the sense of now we have Optimus now. Let me just move this over. Now we have Optimus now in our lives, and Optimus is just creating all of these hyperabundance of goods and services now for us, right? Now we have the freedom to do almost work would just be if you wanted to do it. I mean, you don't have to do it, but if you want to just kind of just pass time, you can, but why? Wouldn't you live a more fulfilling life if you can do whatever you want to do? You wake up and you don't have to go to work. And that UBI, universal basic income, is covering all, if not majority, of your bills. Yes, you need to be disciplined and active. The probability is that depression will skyrocket. Yes, and this is where you need to have hobbies. Good call. TikTok. A lot of people will sit on the couch and watch Netflix all day. It wouldn't be surprisingly, and you know what, TikTok, you got to remember though, Tiki-Taka, you got to remember this too, is that AI is going to take over all those TV shows, all the movies, all of the stuff that we are doing right now. It will create endless, and I mean endless, content of TV shows, movies, nonstop. You have to understand, Hollywood is not going to be able to keep up, because a lot of this stuff, you can already see some of the AI videos coming out. And it's only going to progress faster and faster and faster as the years, days, weeks go on. Okay. So yeah, as long as you have an active freedom plan for when this does happen, or if it happens, I don't know. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. I'm just giving you a dystopia, a utopia that I think that we could be headed down into, right? We could head into it, and you guys are just not prepared, right? But I'm prepared. I'm prepared to be like, oh, okay, well, as I said, I would golf 18 holes a day. Every single day I'll go golf. Great exercise. Love to be out one with nature. And it's good. It's just good for the mind, body, and soul. And then, I'll go to the gym, stay active, right? You have to stay active. Your body has to keep active, right? Third, DJ. Fourth, watch TV shows with my wife. Go to bed, wake up and do it again. And then go travel and golf. Like, it's crazy. I know it's crazy, and a lot of people still don't see it. I'm looking at it exactly the same as you. Thank you, Tiki-Taka. There is not a lot of people who think beyond this, right? Because they're either too busy with their lives, trying to raise a family. I get it, right? I get it. This is like the last thing that's on your mind. But technology moves so fast that you either have to conform to it, merge with it, or forget about it and be left behind. Those are just my scenarios that I see. And I do not want to have anybody left behind. That's just me. As a human being, I want all of us to succeed. This whole thing is plenty of market cap that you can get a piece of this pie. I got to find the video. So there was one with Stephen Mark Ryan where he actually had numbers for Optimus. And it will blow your mind. And you would think that he is the most craziest, delusional fanboy Elon D. Rider you have ever known. But if you sit down and you do the numbers and you can see potentially on what it could do. I mean, Farzad's here talking about a 1-for-1 bot for one person for every bot. That's 8 billion people at this point, right? That's 8 billion people. But let's say if I want 2 or 3 or 4, right? I mean, can you imagine a 4-to-1 ratio for bots to humans? 32, let's say, I think there 6 million people in the world? Let's see, 6 billion people in the world. Let me see here. World population 2025. There are 8.2 billion people in this world. Okay. Now let's just say if it's a 4-to-1, that's 32 billion bots. Now look at that's just an effect of every human owning one. That doesn't even include businesses, right? Businesses that use them in their warehouses, in their restaurants, in their fixing our roads, our bridges, everything, all of our infrastructure, right? Can you imagine? Imagine this. Imagine this. Imagine we have a world where Optimus is redoing all of our infrastructure. Now we got the Hyperloop being built by Optimus. We got our roads being built by Optimus now. We are building roads that have autonomous vehicle lanes for EVs to go in and go out of, 100+ mile an hour going through that lane. And it's specifically only for EVs, for autonomous vehicles. There is just the world where I just think that people are just not imagining this and it will never happen, or like iRobot was just a movie. No, iRobot could take place and be what we know it now in the next 5 to 10 years, because this is where I think it's going to accelerate in this 5 to 10 year moment. And a lot of people call me crazy, except for Tiki Taka. Tiki Taka doesn't call me crazy. Thank the Lord that there's another mindset like me. But I would say there's less than 1%, or these Tesla, like me, as I'll just say it, I'm a Tesla fanboy. I don't care what you guys say. You can call me all the names you want. You can diss me on all the comments on my videos, or it'll never happen, or whatever the case may be. Throw all the hate and shade at you want. I don't care. I'm going to just throw the memes right back. But I think that this is where we are heading. All right. And I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. I could be. I'm just saying, what if? Don't you always guys plan out for that scenario of the what if kind of sort of thing? Like, hey, could this really happen? Yes, it can. It can really happen. Okay. So let me get this played and I can put you guys back up on the stand, because now it's finally going. Okay.
Emerge, such as robot taxation funding social services or cooperative ownership where communities share robotic labor benefits. Tesla's position with its data, AI, and energy integration uniquely equips it to lead this shift, extending beyond electric vehicles to redefine human-machine coexistence. Tesla's journey from automotive pioneer to robotics leader underscores a transformative era. Through foundational AI from full self-driving, and Optimus emerges not as a tool, but as a catalyst for change. Its general-purpose design overcomes dexterity and navigation hurdles, poised to integrate into everyday life. Bolstered by an unmatched data mode and fleet learning, Tesla erects barriers against rivals. The ecosystem, merging energy storage with AI networks, paves the way for self-sustaining robotics. While societal impacts on work and ethics demand careful navigation, the potential for enhanced productivity and leisure is immense. Tesla stands at the vanguard, driving an automation revolution that reimagines our world.
So that's just one video.
This
right?
quarter, I think, is setting up to be.
That's just one video that I wanted to show you guys, right? I wanted to show you this video because it's definitely the most important, one of the most important videos that I've seen, right? Is it breaks down what Tesla is trying to do. Humanoid robots, autonomous vehicles, robotaxi network. That's what they're trying to do. Okay. So that's just kind of where that is heading at that point. Let's see if I can try to find another one, which is this one with Herbert. This is a pretty good one too. So let's go with this one. Let me stop sharing. Let me go. Now let's go back here. I know I'm just being horrible. I get it. There we go.
Larger than any competitors in Austin and the Bay Area. Second, he also said Tesla is waiting on regulatory approval when asked when FSD might be coming to Thailand. Third, after the ex-Waymo CEO attacked Tesla's robotaxi service, saying it's not real yet, Elon said they will switch from claiming Tesla self-driving is fake to Tesla self-driving is unfairly good. Fourth, Tesla announced a new program that could be a sign of things to come. When you buy a Model S or X now, it will come standard with not just FSD, but also premium connectivity and a new service package. I suspect this might be a test of a way to sell cars as subscriptions in the future. Finally, we've learned more about the new Model Y L and Tesla's now advertising. We've got Jeff Lutz here with us.
Oh, okay. The new Model YL. I definitely like the car. But Elon did put in a post saying that it might not come to the US. If so, it might do it next year or might not at all. I have mixed feelings about this. It's pretty sad because that's a really nice car. It is. And it's got the trunk space. It's got the frunk. It's got the 3-row seats. It's just like a mini Model X without the Falcon Wing doors. So it's pretty sad. So we'll keep going now before I cry.
Today, he's the ex-CVP of Supply Chain and Chief Quality Officer. He's now CEO of his own supply chain consulting firm. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, Herbert. Yeah, great weekend. Lots going on.
Lots of new information. Love it when Elon gets busy on the weekends. He shares a lot more important information. First one he did was,
you guys so much.
He's basically, replying to people who are saying, oh, Tesla's robotaxi is not yet, really a robotaxi service. And he said, the Tesla robotaxi service or area is already larger than any competitors in Austin and the Bay Area. This is in response to this person here, right? Who's saying one has a safety driver, one doesn't, only for now. And then he says, it's been 4 months? You've never even hear people using the robots in Austin anymore. The influencers left, nobody uses them. That's his opinion, which is not true at all.
God, all these haters, they are just going to be so cooked with this thing. It's just fully autonomized. It just smashes Waymo. And the next thing you hear is Google is shutting down their Waymo car. I can see that happening. Can you? Because it's going to happen quicker than I think. I was thinking maybe Waymo has another 2 years, maybe 3, but at the rate they're going, I don't see it lasting till the end of 2026. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I mean, the timeline could be a little off, but it's going to happen. You got to remember that Elon has always said bold timelines or bold things. It's just taking longer than it usually does. Sorry. Things happen. And that's just sometimes how it goes in that realm, okay?
All Sawyer defended it. It's launched just 55 days ago. And since then, the geofence area has already expanded 4 times. The in-car safety monitors limited controls. And by the way, they don't actually drive it. So what do you think about his response?
Regulation.
On every metric, Tesla's rollout of their robotaxi service has been a success, and quite frankly, faster than any other service that's been rolled out. What's interesting is all of these other services, they were in the news a lot, but they were not micro-analyzed down. Literally, it's by the hour, and there's just tremendous activity around this company in the news cycle, this company in terms of trading and options activity and so forth. So the zone just gets flooded nonstop. And if you look, again, there's no trading advice, just where the stock is trading around this time, it's certainly at a technical threshold, in this, called 330 to 338 area, where it's got to decide what area it's going to move. So I've never seen anything like this before in terms of the kind of the reality distortion that's happening. And it happens, there's a bit of it on both sides of it, being hyper bullish and being hyper bearish. And what's nice about the platform is you see all of it. But yeah, you just have to. the highest order bit in this whole equation is time to volume. And what's time to volume? Time to volume is it could be measured in a number of different ways, but I think the two key ways for Tesla is the area of service, so the service area deployment of robotaxi, and the number of vehicles deployed. The rest of it, because they engineer their unit economics all the way from their own custom silicon to how the car is cleaned and charged, because that's engineering vertically integrated and operationally vertically integrated, the rest of that is going to be fine. And as the volume picture fills out, you will see that there won't be another service in the near that's at least that's been announced up to this point that can compete on this cost structure.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. So service area, right? Time to volume, you're talking about it because it's going to test the operations. And they don't, they don't need to pull the driver out completely as too soon, because what you want to do is test everything. But here's the thing that people are just glancing right over. Even if you have ride hail in California, they're not driving. The car is driving itself all over the Bay Area. They're supervising it, but they're not driving it. And same thing with, of course, in Austin with the guys sitting on the safety monitor in their seat. So people are just dismissing that completely.
All right, Stephen Mark Ryan just came out with a new video. I gotta watch it because his stuff is just so good, and he just doesn't beat around the bush. He's not a BS type of guy. This is great. So let's see what we got here. Let me just get it up and going here for a minute. You guys are gonna watch all my stuff. Let's see if it pops up right here.
ARK have published. Tesla has launched its robotaxi. Now what? A $10 trillion market? On June 22nd, in Austin, Tesla launched its robotaxi service to a limited group of users, beginning to shift in its model from one-time low-margin hardware sales to recurring high-margin revenues. Now that it is scaling, Tesla should be able to meet urban Austin vehicle miles traveled with only 200,000 vehicles, an opportunity that far exceeds today's ride-hail market. So before we get any further, my first reaction to this is, what the actual fuck? 200,000 vehicles? Are they high, or more likely am I dumb? The math ain't mathing here for me. How in the hell does a city of just roughly 1 million people require 200,000 vehicles? Either ARK have gone mad, or I'm about to learn something. My modeling suggests a far lower number of vehicles needed to meet peak demand for the entire market. Let's continue. According to our research, Tesla's robotaxi business could represent around 90% of its enterprise value by 2029. By the way, that's a mere 4 years away. Capturing a significant share of ARK's projected $10 trillion global robotaxi market, as shown below. Now, if you're a nerd, feel free to pause. What we're looking at here, essentially, based on price per mile, how many miles total of demand for robotaxis, e.g., a $1 per mile, roughly 1 trillion miles. 50 cents per mile, roughly 5 trillion miles. It roughly looks like 35 cents per mile in yellow there. 10 trillion miles, and then a very long tail, 25 cents per mile. 30 trillion total miles, and an additional, just from that 25 cents per mile, from 10 to 30. So that's 20 trillion miles at that addressable price point. Obvious things are obvious, right? If more people can afford to use transport as a service, they will. Imagine that. Competition. Good one. And scaling. In our view, 2025 is shaping up to be the year of the robotaxi, with Waymo in the lead thus far at around 250,000 fully autonomous paid rides per week. Our research suggests Waymo's safety has improved around 3 times since mid-2024 and is approaching the US human accident rate. 1 accident every 700,000 miles. With launches planned for Miami, Washington, D.C. and Dallas, Waymo could surpass human safety metrics in the next few quarters. On screen now, Waymo's safety improvement over time, millions of miles before police reported collisions. Keeping in mind, obviously, that there may be collisions that aren't reported to police, although with an autonomous vehicle, probably not. Obviously, trending in the right direction. In 2018, that's not far off, a decade ago.
Yeah, so this is where I originally got the Kathy Woods ARK Invest for it, for trying to get to that market cap of $10 trillion, right? And that's where I said that I think that's just for the autonomous ride sharing only. Okay. That's for only that. That doesn't include all the package delivery. I'm assuming, I just forget. I just got to maybe do some more research on it, but that's just my prediction that it will be that. which is where I get the number when I say $10 trillion market cap, is where I always give that kind of perspective, right? Is definitely that number is what she is going by. So that's what I'm going by on that. Okay, so let's keep going.
Waymo began commercial autonomous rides and has expanded gradually. That's putting it lightly, extremely gradually. It's like they're wading through molasses. Not being a hater, but just relative to how quickly Tesla's moved. Waymo is moving way more slowly. Expanded gradually during the past 7 years. In contrast, Tesla intends to scale quickly with its vision-only end-to-end AI approach, as it illustrated in just 3 weeks by extending coverage in Austin beyond that of Waymo, even though it is still using a safety monitor. Days later, and 4 months after its own Austin debut, Waymo expanded its coverage beyond Tesla's, though Tesla responded by doubling its service area. And the two now have similarly sized, but by the way, very differently shaped, if you know, you know, operating regions, with ride hail comprising just around 3% of daily, I'm assuming, vehicle miles traveled. Best guess, we'll roll with it. Somebody can let me know in the comments if I've guessed that one wrong. Can't be fucked figuring it out. I'm guessing vehicle miles traveled. In urban Austin, the market is still nascent, underscoring a significant opportunity for robotaxis as shown below. And what we're looking at here, daily vehicle miles traveled, presumably in urban Austin, ride hail, a tiny little sliver here, 3%, and the other 97%. Okay, so here's the good part, because this ain't making sense to me. Our research suggests around 200,000 robotaxis supplemented by privately owned vehicles integrated into fleets similar to Airbnb could meet all of urban Austin's VMT as shown below. So taking a look at this, we've got urban Austin robotaxi demand by time of day. You can see peak, early morning, people getting to work, comparable peak, people getting home. This dividing line here, the dotted line, is essentially the robotaxi fleet, and everything above this line is the fleet being supplemented by people's own vehicles that are being added to the fleet. Now, I'm really having a hard fucking time computing this. If Austin has, let's just say, 1 million people, it does, is it really accurate that the absolute peak would require 350,000 vehicles operating? Typically, school ends and starts a little bit offset from the typical workday, right? So I'm just trying to understand how they get to this number. It seems absolutely wildly high to me. Or maybe I am just wildly high. Anyway, we'll keep reading. I'm sure they'll explain why I'm a moron in a moment. That said, the estimate is highly sensitive to average vehicle speed and deadhead miles assumptions. Yeah, this is true. Good. They're going to explain. Now, average vehicle speed is important because I was just thinking while I was kind of commenting, you know, if there's massive traffic jams, then obviously going to need a lot more vehicles during peak times just to get from point A to point B to pick people up. Yep. So this can significantly impact the required fleet size as shown. Oh, here we go. Thank fuck. So now I can understand why I'm an idiot. All right, here we go. Deadhead as a percent of total vehicle miles. And by the way, deadhead means the vehicle's traveling to pick a passenger up, or in other words, it basically means the vehicle doesn't have anyone in it right now. It's still doing miles, but they're not being paid for, right? Empty robotaxi. Okay, let's just call this empty robotaxi. Look at the average speed in miles per hour, as low as 14 and up to 30. So we can see here, the average speed, if you go from, let's say, 14 to 30, half as many robotaxis required, and then how often they're empty, from none of the time to half the time. So this seems to be how they're coming up with this, what I still see is an outrageously high number. But hey, what would I know? Just some idiot who makes videos on the internet. Still, my gut feel, this doesn't feel right. So scientific, I know. Anyway, moving on. Importantly, urban Austin is a fraction of the addressable VMT in the US. Tesla is well positioned to scale and capture that opportunity. No shit, Sherlock. While Waymo relies on partners like Uber, Jaguar, Zeekr, and Hyundai. According to our research, the current annual global production of Model 3s and Y could support the VMT of any top 10 US urban market, as shown below. Oh, think fuck. See, I've got these own models, my own assumptions here. I'm looking forward to seeing these from ARK. But I mean, this stuff's pretty obvious, right? Let's say Austin, which is roughly a top 10, maybe a top 7-ish, something like that, city in terms of population in the US. If it only requires a few 100,000.
Let's see population in the US. Let's look this up, guys. Shall we? Let's look this up. I'm gonna look up population in urban cities. Let's say top population US cities 2024. So it looks like it goes New York, Chicago, Houston, and Phoenix are the top 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, looks like those are the top 5. Okay, so New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, San Antonio, Philadelphia, San Diego, Dallas, Jacksonville, San Jose, San Francisco, Oklahoma City. Those are the largest U.S. cities by population. Austin's not even up there, actually. Okay. Let's keep going.
vehicles, and Tesla in the US alone is making hundreds of thousands of vehicles per year. And when they start producing Cybercab, they can crank them out at least as quickly. It doesn't take much imagination to realize that Tesla can systematically target and saturate the biggest cities in the US one after another and absolutely dominate the robotaxi market. Think New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Austin, Miami, Dallas. State-level regulations could slow deployment, as has been the case in New York City. By the way, rest in fucking peace if things go the way they're looking like right now. If you know, you know. But a shift to federal regulatory framework could be the game changer. Okay, so robotaxi demand by time of day in urban regions. Top line here, ARC estimating, I guess, that Tesla could be producing 4 million Cybercabs per year at scale. Now, this is actually a really good chart because what we're showing here, global Model 3 and Y production capacity today. We've also got cumulative hardware for deliveries of Tesla vehicles in the US. ARC almost trolling here. They've also got Waymo production capacity at scale. It doesn't even register. It's basically zero. And this is shown in context with, let's say, New York, biggest city in the US, right, in green. In other words, Tesla's current global Model 3 and Y production capacity, enough give or take to cater to all of the ride-hail demand in New York, the biggest city in the US by miles, pun intended.
So the chart that's up here, right? You have New York, Miami, Houston, LA, Long Beach, Anaheim all in one, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., So there's actually a clumper full of it. So you got New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. That's just one. Miami is its own. Houston is its own. Los Angeles, Long Beach, Anaheim, that's all in one. Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, I'm assuming, MD. Then you have Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland, Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, and Atlanta in this chart. So it's 3, 6, 9 that they have.
The point ARC's making here with New York, Miami, Houston, LA, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Dallas, and Atlanta is that Tesla's already producing vehicles globally right now at a scale that would be sufficient to dominate each of these markets. Now, obviously, that's globally. They're not probably suggesting they're going to be shipping vehicles from Shanghai to the US, although you never know. I mean, if it makes sense, it makes sense. But the point here, Tesla already has massive scale, and Waymo, apparently the leader in autonomy, is producing so few vehicles. Actually, they don't produce any themselves, but via partners, that they do not even register on this chart. Do you understand? Now that its Austin and San Francisco launches are underway, Tesla is beginning to enjoy 3 key competitive advantages. Oh, motherfuckers. Are they going to talk about the same 3 things that I've been talking about? Let's see here. 3 competitive advantages: vertically integrated manufacturing, data, and cost per mile. That should position it to expand rapidly across other US regions.
Yep.
Vertically integrated manufacturing. Tesla's vertically integrated manufacturing offers a clear scaling advantage. No shit, Sherlock. Not just scaling, but also cost. While Waymo is working with auto partners to add a whopping roughly 200, I'm just kidding. I was going to say 200,000 and troll you guys. I'm not. A whopping 2,000 vehicles to its fleet. I'm going to say that again. A whopping 2,000 vehicles to its fleet, which is currently roughly 1,500, through next year. Really? Tesla can produce more than 5,000 vehicles every day. Okay? Waymo is going to add a whopping 2,000 vehicles by end of next year to their existing fleet of 1,500. So what are we looking at? 3,500 vehicles by the end of next year. Meanwhile, Tesla, by lunch today, has produced more than their entire fleet will be, e.g. Waymo's fleet, end of next year. Awkward. According to our research, Tesla's Austin factory alone could produce more vehicles than urban Austin's entire ride-hail fleet in around 9 days. I'm getting deja vu because I went through this exercise on a video like a month or 2 ago, talking about exactly this, specific factories. I literally talked about Austin producing a number of days, but obviously, Mark and I, at least on the same page in how you would think about this problem, even if their estimates for vehicles required is a bit higher than mine. Notably, this estimate excludes Tesla's planned production of 2 to 4 million Cybercabs annually slated to begin next year. By the way, important context on this, in case you forgot, Cybercabs are not only designed to be able to be manufactured very affordably and operated very affordably, which is super important, but also at an extremely high rate of output from a very small factory footprint. This is much more important than it seems. If your goal is to make as many of these fuckers as fast as possible, the smaller the factory footprint, the higher density the output, and the faster the rate of output, the better. Make them cheap and make them fast.
Now, will you guys get in a Cybercab? If you don't know what it is, you have to look it up. It's just a two-seater, no steering wheel, no pedals. Who's gonna get in one of those? I mean, I'll get in it maybe once or twice just to kind of have the experience of it to see what it is. But in the sense, I'd rather just order a Model Y or a Model 3. No, actually, I won't even order a Model 3. If I had to hail a Robotaxi ride, and let's say all their vehicles are on there, S3, X, and Y, and then the Cybertruck, I'd rather either get into an X or a Y. I'll pay a little extra for that because I just like the room. I like the space. Duh.
Data. According to our research, compared to Waymo, Tesla gathers around 40 times more miles of real-world driving data per year from its full self-driving vehicles and around 900 times more from its global fleet, as shown below. So call it 2 orders of magnitude. Maybe some context would help. Imagine your 200-pound girlfriend. I'm just kidding, I know I don't have one, but if she did exist, 2 orders of magnitude larger would not be 2,000 pounds, but 20,000 pounds. That data foundation should enable Tesla to scale more quickly without detailed mapping. Unlike Waymo's geofenced model, Tesla's data spans diverse geographies, enhancing its AI's ability to manage edge cases. Even Waymo acknowledged recently that data and compute are key variables in enhancing the performance of autonomous vehicles. So, again, Tesla, roughly 900 times more data being collected every second versus Waymo. Waymo themselves acknowledge that data and compute are very important in terms of actually improving the capability, aka safety profile, of their software. On screen now, daily miles traveled. Once again, Waymo doesn't even register on the fucking chart. Awkward. Cost per mile. When operating at scale, Tesla's cost per mile could be 30 to 50% lower than Waymo's because it does not rely on other automakers, LiDAR, or extra hardware as shown below. And again, this time, Tesla barely registering on the chart because of the extremely low cost in total. And this is important. Tesla will hold all the power in this industry because they dictate pricing. And if they decide to offer competitive pricing per mile as opposed to milk maximum profits, and as we saw earlier, the lower the cost, the more people use the service. So even if you have lower margins than you could have, if your margin's half as much, but you've got 100 times as many people using the service, I mean, hello, it's a win. So much like today with electric vehicles, where Tesla's the only company making any money selling electric vehicles at scale to consumers because they have the lowest costs and are driving costs down, and the industry must follow. And as they do follow, they have to lose money to keep selling vehicles. The same shit is going to repeat itself with cost per mile when Tesla Cybercabs are at scale. No company will be able to compete with Tesla on cost and make a comparable margin. In fact, it's more likely that Tesla will drive their cost per mile so low because of their massive cost advantage, 30 to 50% lower cost, that no company will be able to make any profit trying to match Tesla on cost per mile. Let me just explain the point. Let's say, the high end here, Tesla has a 50% lower cost. Let's say, just hypothetically, it costs Tesla, easy round number, $1 per mile, costs Waymo $2 per mile. If Tesla charges, let's say, $1.20 per mile, they're making a 20% profit per mile, and Waymo's cost is $2 per mile. If they try and price at $1.20 per mile, they're losing 80 cents per mile, aka they're totally fucked. I'm just kidding, everything's going to be fine. Ignore what I said. Waymo is totally a viable business. Highlighting the advantages of autonomous over human-driven taxis, whether Waymo or Tesla, recent surveys show that riders in San Francisco.
But you guys have to also remember, not only is Waymo screwed, but every other automaker is going to be screwed. Right? Ford, Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes, VW, all of these companies are going to be screwed. Tell me how they survive. Tell me how any car company survives. Unless you license Tesla's FSD, you will not survive. You will not. You have to go full in on autonomy, take Tesla's full self-drive, place those cameras in specific areas, and get those cars out there. If not, it is going to be a bloodbath in the automotive industry, manufacturing. All those jobs are going to get displaced. If you guys cannot see the writing on the wall, it is going to happen. It is. I don't see anybody adapting to it. Ford's losing money on their Mach-E and on their Lightning. Tesla's the only one that's making money off of the cars. And as I said, they're going to make even more money off per car because it's going to drive themselves. It's going to drive it everywhere and saturate this whole United States. Okay.
Go prefer Waymo over Uber and Lyft. And by the way, I wonder why. If your sense of smell is sufficient, and or you're a young hot female who would prefer not to be in conversation with a potential reaper, or you'd just like some peace and quiet, or you'd prefer the driver not be talking to his family via a headset for the entire trip and not paying attention to the road, etc., etc. Obviously, these are not every instance of a ride, but they are common enough that many people would prefer no driver. This means the service without a driver isn't equivalent but superior to human-driven ride-hail. Now, the only exceptions here are for extreme extroverts who would prefer to have somebody to chat to on the way, but these are the minority. Late last year, Waymo's market share surpassed Lyft, as shown below, and could top Uber's in the next year or so, given their respective trajectories, as it scales its robotaxi service nationally. Tesla is well positioned to undercut competitor price points and gain share during the next few years. Stunning chart here, market share, gross bookings in San Francisco. Uber, Lyft, and Waymo. Waymo from essentially none of the market to more than a quarter of the market in just a couple of years. Lyft peaking at, let's call it 30-35%. Waymo now having passed Lyft and got close to the peak on this chart. By the way, can you imagine what happens when Tesla comes to the party? Holy fuck. Conclusion. Robotaxis are operating and serving customers today. While Waymo took the early lead, we believe Tesla's end-to-end vision-only AI, vertically integrated manufacturing and data advantages position it to dominate in the US and perhaps globally during the next few years. Apparently, there'll be another article on this topic soon. Now, just one caveat here too. You'll note how they say, and perhaps globally during the next few years. There are certain markets that are ultra low priorities, e.g. China, basically the third world, developing nations, China, Asia, portions, Africa, India. Right now, autonomy, somebody's probably going to do all right there, but in terms of return on investment, biggest market opportunities, cost per mile customers are willing and able to pay, these will be the last places that robotaxis dominate. Major markets include the US, most of Europe, developed nations, Australia, and so on. People here, people there, can pay a few dollars per mile, do pay a few dollars per mile, and use services like Uber taxis very regularly. And you'll note, ARK Invest believe, like some guy on the internet, that Tesla's not going to take a small or even reasonable slice, but are likely to dominate in the US, which is far and away the world's biggest and most meaningful market when it comes to autonomy. If only I could have known this years ago and been loading up on Tesla stock before it became obvious. Oh wait, no, that's exactly what I did and did. Huh, okay, no regrets. Motherfuckers. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed.
So that's Stephen Mark Ryan right there. I watch his YouTubes all the time. He's got a great perspective on this. So let's go back to Herbert. Where's your Herbert? Herbert. Okay. I think it was this one. Was it this one? Let's see. No, let's go this one. Let's go with Farzad again. This one's a good one. Oopsies. Whoopsies. Let's see here. Okay. Now let's share again, shall we? Come on.
Everybody, huge news coming out of the automotive world from Elon Musk and Tesla. 2 posts specifically on X from the last 12 hours or so, not even. News that the Model Y L, the new platform that Tesla has unveiled in China that's going to start selling here in the next month or so. Elon said that this vehicle is not coming to the US primarily because of the state of autonomy and self-driving technology in the United States. A lot there to unpack. And it's very closely tied to a different post that Elon Musk made about version 14, which is the next generation version of self-driving, which is what this Cybertruck is doing right now, and what Robotaxi is doing as well in Austin and in California. That's essentially going to take the technology to the next level, while also commenting that the current Robotaxi software in Austin is version 13, And this new version is going to take robotaxi and unsupervised autonomy to a completely different level. Hype beast Elon Musk is back, everybody. Take it with a grain of salt. However, there is a lot to say. There really is a lot to say here. If we think about what the Model Y L is, the Model Y L is a stretched out platform of the Model Y. The Model Y is the best-selling car in the world, 1.2 million units sold last year, just last year. The same exact car is the car Tesla's using in places like Austin and the Bay Area to operate its robotaxi network, which is a self-driving taxi, essentially. The L takes that car, makes it longer, puts a proper third row, makes it a little bit nicer. You have captain chairs in the second row, and it retains all the awesome stuff about the Model Y and just makes it into a better package. From my perspective, this is the ultimate package for the Model Y. 3 rows, all accessible, at a very reasonable price point. I believe in China it starts at $47,000 US adjusted. If it came to the US, it would be probably closer to 55 or even 59 because labor costs here are more than in China. And then all of a sudden you have this unbelievable vehicle. Truly, you have an unbelievable vehicle that would just clean house. It would absolutely clean house, especially here in the United States. So the post from Elon Musk, from my perspective, of him saying that it can't come to the US or it doesn't have any plans to come to the US because of autonomy potentially, from my perspective, he has to say that anyway. That's a statement that Elon Musk is going to have to say regardless if he's telling the truth or not. The reason why is because it's coming out in China, when it's coming out and it's not ready for the United States, that form factor is absolutely the best form factor for that vehicle. And if it actually was in the United States, it would clean house. I'm fully confident in saying that. People have been clamoring for a proper 3-row SUV from Tesla that is affordable. Right now, Tesla only makes the Model X that is a proper 3-row, and the Model Y takes that Model X formula and it brings it to the masses and makes it into something that's actually affordable for a lot of people. Currency adjusted, 59,000 versus 47,000 is more, but there are a lot of people out there that would pay $59,000 for a proper 3-row SUV, especially a Tesla, especially if it can drive itself, if it has FSD. But if we think about what Elon said, it's like, well, because of self-driving technology and autonomy, there is a chance that we won't even bring it to the United States, begins a thought experiment that's tied to the V14 post that Elon Musk made about the next generation of self-driving. And so let's do a thought exercise here. Let's say Tesla does indeed reach the levels of self-driving performance that would not require me. As an example, I'm sitting in the Cybertruck right now. It's driving itself, but I still have to pay attention. If I don't pay attention, this thing yells at me and it's like, pay attention.
So the Cybertruck full self-drive is very different compared to the Model Y full self-drive. Very, very, very different, right? Different length, height, width, steering. Everything is different in that truck compared to the Model Y, which they have the most data is for the Model Y and the Model 3. This is the most amount of data. So the truck drives okay. I want to know, it's going to be a good question, if V13 on the truck is going to be to V14 2 also. I wonder if they're going to go to that same branch of update from V13 to V14 of the truck. My guess is no, but I could be wrong. Who knows? So
if I no longer have to pay attention and I just get in the car and it takes me from point A to point B, literally anywhere in the United States, basically what Robotaxi is doing in Austin right now, but anywhere in the United States, that creates a platform where a driver is no longer needed for a vehicle, at least for 99.9% of the time. You just stop paying attention. The car will say, I got it. You can take a nap. You can, I don't know, do whatever you want. I'm going to take you to your destination. And I'll only let you know if I need your help in the most dire consequences. And I want to give you a heads up for you to take over. What does that do? Fundamentally speaking, it frees up time. You no longer have to be, even if it's a 3-row SUV, even if it's the perfect form factor that you have, all of a sudden, when you get into your vehicle, you no longer have to pay attention in almost every scenario, almost always, no longer have to pay attention. So now you have your time back to go on your phone, get on a call, take a nap, watch a movie, talk to your partner, talk to the car, just mindlessly just let your brain go somewhere else or whatever else you want to do. You get your time back. If that's really the case, one would have to think that the demand for Tesla vehicles, as long as they get there, and as long as people are aware that Tesla can do that, the demand for those vehicles is going to be astronomical. The reason why is a Tesla vehicle today, the Model Y, the Model 3 especially, if you think about it from a cost per mile perspective, or a running cost perspective, or an affordability perspective, these vehicles are just as affordable, if not more affordable, especially over the long term, than their direct counterparts from legacy auto. In this specific case, a RAV4 from Toyota, or a Camry, or even a Corolla from Toyota as well. Toyota makes unbelievably reliable cars, unbelievably popular cars. There's a reason why they're the biggest brand in the world. They just kick ass at making really good cars, but they're cars, meaning that you have to pay attention, you have to drive them. Tesla doesn't sell cars. In reality, like if you watch these talking head videos, and I'm sitting down here and I'm letting this freaking triangle driving me around, this metal triangle driving me around. This is not really a car or even a truck. This is a transportation unit that requires me to pay attention. I don't drive, I just pilot. So what does that do when your best-selling models are the same price as a RAV4 or a Corolla and you don't have to drive them? It completely breaks the formula of transportation in the countries that allow that technology. And so Elon Musk may very well be right that even if they don't bring the Model Y L to the United States because of autonomy, the demand for the existing vehicles is going to be so unbelievable that introducing complexity to the process doesn't make any sense, especially given that the Model Y L or the Model Y is not really optimized. If you really think about it from a packaging perspective, is not really optimized for the future of no drivers required. In a future where a driver is no longer required, the seat that I'm in right now, that I could be driving, but I'm not because my truck does it for me. Why does this steering wheel need to be here? Why do these pedals need to be here? Maybe the screen could be a little bit bigger. Why am I facing forward? If we go down the path a little bit more, right? The packaging changes. This layout, this thing in the middle, the cup holders, sort of like maybe the positioning of the handle on the left, maybe how deep the front of the car is in relation to where I'm seated, the relation of the back seats or even the third row to where I'm at, the potential to swivel these seats, right? The implications around safety. If you have a fully unsupervised vehicle, you think the safety profile is going to be better, eventually much better than a human. What does that do to safety and the likelihood of impacts around the vehicle, right? How does that change the manufacturing of the vehicle? The Model Y and the Model YL are not optimized, or the Model 3, none of the cars in Tesla's current fleet outside of the Cybercab, they're not optimized for that driverless future. And so
you can see on the Cybercab, you see that? No steering wheel, no pedals. That's just going to be a two-seater. I want to know how many people are going to be in that car. As I said, I'll do it a couple times, but I'd rather just be in a Model Y or a Model X. Chauffeur me around.
Part of the thinking could be where this is sort of what Elon does very well. He goes 5-10 years into the future, says that's going to happen, and then he makes that assumption that that's going to happen, and then he starts building to that future now. Dave Lee hinted at this on X, on his post. I highly recommend you guys go check out Dave Lee. Dave Lee is a phenomenal resource for really anything Tesla, but he also...
So let's read this, right? So I think I actually have it here on the other screen. Is this the same one that I saw earlier? Self-driving will lower. Yep. So let's go here to this tab. All right. So here's Dave Lee's post right here. Okay. So I'll read this up for you guys. Okay, here's how I interpret Elon's comment. Self-driving will lower demand for nice drivable vehicles since people won't drive but be driven. Tesla vehicles to date all drive well, but that is because there was a primary use case. But to make a car drive well, it adds expense, better handling, acceleration, braking, steering column, etc. Self-driving, what's important shifts dramatically. You don't need fast acceleration or handling, rather you just want comfort. This would likely require Tesla to launch new platforms. The first is the Cybercab platform that will be on other platforms Tesla launches too. They will be tailored for self-driving era. The Model Y is a great car, but designed for the previous era, named the driving era. Tesla will continue to sell the Model Y for a long time because of the capex already invested and because there will be people wanting to buy it until Tesla's new platforms come online, which will take 2 to 6 years, ? And it will take some time for the new platforms to ramp. The Model Y L appeals to a smaller segment than the Model Y. So while it can grow Model Y sales in the next few years, there's always a chance that Tesla shifts priorities quicker to the development and release of the new driving platforms. Then why release a Model Y L in China at all? First, I assume that Tesla China design was commissioned with this vehicle, so it was developed largely in China. Second, there are already smaller 6-seater EVs from Tesla's competitors in China, and Tesla wants to match the choice available for consumers there. Third, China moves fast, so they can release the Model Y L quicker with less hiccups compared to elsewhere. Fourth, it's a good way to grow sales in the next few years. In terms of the US, the Model Y L might still be a good way to grow sales in the next few years too, but the conditions are different. The first 3 conditions I mentioned are in China. The fourth appeals to the US as well. But the US has the additional and unique condition, and that is the regulation environment for self-driving is the best in the world. So Tesla, in taking advantage of that, and will likely achieve true full self-driving in the US first. So that also makes it likely that Tesla can start and ramp their new self-driving era platforms in the US faster than any other market or region. This is why we are seeing the Cybercab being built first in the US. So in regards to the Model Y L, yes, it can grow sales in the US, but also the US will be the first to experience the truly transformational power of self-driving, which will radically change the demand for vehicles and lead to the launch of Tesla's next generation of vehicles, which will require radically different platforms. The Cybercab is a 2-person seat driving platform. I would expect a 4-seat driving platform, a 6-seat driving platform, and then have the Tesla van for larger needs. These vehicles will be radically different than all the other vehicles in the past. They are built on full self-driving platform from the ground up. Comfort prioritized, super quiet cabins, no steering column, no pedals. Extra costs of fast acceleration, handling, avoiding will allow Tesla to put much smaller monitors, much less expensive handling related parts. No side mirrors, list goes on. This will be the start of a new era for transport, and Tesla will determine the lead. Exciting times are ahead. Couldn't have said it any better by Dave Lee. Couldn't have said it any better. We're on this one now, right? Let's go back to this one.
Investing. He's just a very, very, very smart person, really good person as well. Just an excellent human being. He makes this argument that the optimization for a self-driving vehicle doesn't really exist in the Model Y or even the Model YL. So the thought process can be get rid of the complexity and instead focus on the Cybercab platform. What Tesla's doing with the Cybercab, which is removing the steering wheel and pedal entirely and going with this brand new unbox process, which is a next generation manufacturing process in car factories that parallelizes, which is a fancy word of saying everything happens all at once, the doors being built, the chassis being built, whatever. Everything kind of happens all at once, and then you plop it together, and then you have this new package. That same process could birth the new form factors or the new vehicles that are multiple rows. Dave talks about this in his post too, multiple rows that are optimized for a self-driving future. And we know Cybercab's being built in Giga Texas. We know this next generation vehicle, this next generation platform is being built in Giga Texas as we speak right now. And so if that's the case, and we know that Model YL, this new platform, is in China, being built in China, but that's where the production capacity is for that vehicle, the math could be, okay, well, if we're gonna be solving for unsupervised and everyone's gonna be buying freaking Teslas, don't worry about bringing Model YL to the US, even though it would be the perfect freaking car for here. It would be the perfect freaking car for the United States. Screw it. We're gonna go full on in autonomy because we know in America we're going to get the pathway. The demand in Texas is going to be plenty. The demand in California is going to be plenty. In places like Florida and Las Vegas, Nevada, in places like Michigan and whatever, just go down the list of states that are friendly to autonomous vehicles. They're going to get so much demand for this product that they're going to be supply limited anyway. So why bother? That's the question. If that's really the case, then we are in a very interesting path right now. There are some trends happening too around Tesla that are very fascinating to think about within this context. I did a quick Google search trend, which was tipped off by one of my followers, thank you, at AABCDEFG or something like that. But somebody basically tipped me off to this. If you go on Google Trends, which essentially analyzes the search trends on Google and they're public, you can go in and do a keyword and it gives you the results of what's the rate that people are searching for this term. Tesla Model Y and Tesla Model 3 are at all-time high search interest for the last year, globally. Now you could say it's the US EV tax credit ending. If you look at the US data, it's also trending higher, but far and away, the rest of the world is where most of these Google searches are happening outside of the United States for these specific vehicles. So that's a very interesting thing to think about. It's like, hey, people are looking to buy this vehicle. Could it be because of the FSD stuff that's happening here? Could it be because of the robotaxi stuff going viral? Could it be that people finally got over the whole, oh, Elon Musk is the devil, and actually bought the best car available, which is the Model 3 and the Model Y? Could that be it? But there's this resurgence of Tesla happening globally for what I think, biased, but I think are easily the best vehicles in the world. Then you have an awakening around a lot of investing firms, analysts, people that follow the company. People have been very skeptical, or let's say healthily skeptical, about Tesla's FSD ambitions, starting to change their tune once they experience FSD and robotaxi in Austin. They're like, wow, holy shit, okay, so this is actually farther along than I thought. This is performing better than I thought. And I don't blame them, because Elon has been very poor at meeting his overly ambitious timelines. But I think the flip side of that story, which is channels like these and other people that follow the story very closely, we've been, shouting from the rooftops, just because he's late doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because it's late doesn't mean it's not happening. And it happening by default means a disruption to transportation. No one else is remotely close to the scale capability Tesla has with a truly self-driving system where you don't have to pay attention. And if Elon is right about his sentiment that V14, this next generation platform for self-driving, the brains behind it, is really as big of a jump that Tesla experienced from V11 to V12, where it went from not using neural nets totally, like end-to-end neural nets, meaning it wasn't completely AI, to being completely AI. All of us remember that gigantic jump in capability that came from V11 to V12. V11, robotic, made mistakes. It seemed like it would get hung up on situations where it should have reacted faster. It was because it was using the CPU part of the chip too much. When Tesla went to V12 and it went neural nets, it said, AI brain, you figure it out. We'll give you all the data, here are all the controls, you figure out what you want to do. All of a sudden, that long tail of issues, those like 100 to 200 minute problems that everybody was having gone. Why? Because the process that Tesla implemented and the chip that they implemented in their car and how they were trying to solve for autonomy, that was the goal from the very beginning. They just didn't have enough data and enough training compute and enough capability to actually make the system sing. And now that they reached that level, it's obvious that this is a exercise of data and compute. Data and compute. And V14, from what it sounds like, we'll see, if it really has a similar step, from my perspective, if V14 is really that big of a change in capability, from what I've experienced from robotaxi thus far, and what I've experienced with FSD thus far, and the trajectory of the technology that I'm seeing, if V14 is that big of a jump from 13 to 14 as it was from 11 to 12, if it's really true, there is no reason why Tesla can't have unsupervised everywhere in the United States once that version is refined. My guess is that Tesla's probably around the 20 to 30,000 miles per intervention right now with the robotaxi version they have in Austin between critical interventions. Like, if you don't step in, a crash is going to happen or someone's going to get hit. just based on the amount of rides I've taken, the amount of people that have taken rides, the fact that, knock on wood, we haven't seen really any serious mishaps. People like to blow stuff out of proportion, like, oh my God, we haven't really seen that much. Truly haven't seen that much. And this thing hasn't been in operation since late June. So that speaks to, and even though the fleet's very small, it speaks to the reliability of the system, the safety of the system, its ability to catch itself if something was to go wrong with the current ecosystem that they've set up. If V14 takes it to 100,000 miles per intervention or even higher, then you're getting very close to the level where you are super close, where you're starting to encroach upon safety levels that are as good as a human. And if you're getting into safety levels as good as a human, then this system here in the car can easily be unsupervised with the driver in the driver's seat. Because then you ping the person when you see an environment where you think you're gonna get in trouble. And who knows, if V14 is really that step change, maybe it goes to 500,000 miles per critical intervention. Maybe it goes to 1,000,000 miles per intervention. But the pathway is obvious. More data, more compute, and if V14 proves another step change, then the formula is proven. We know it's gonna happen. In my opinion, none of this is investment or financial advice. We know it's going to happen. And if we know it's going to happen, then every other car on this road that I'm driving on right now becomes immediately obsolete, as long as it's not a Tesla. If it's a Tesla, all of a sudden, the value of that transportation unit skyrockets because you no longer have to pay attention. And when you no longer have to pay attention, you get your time back. And if you get your time back, that means you can do other stuff. And if you can do other stuff, you could be productive. And if you could be productive, you could make money, which means that this thing all of a sudden unlocks profit potential. And by unlocking profit potential, it means that this transportation unit is more valuable than one that doesn't allow you to do that, which means that the asset value of this thing becomes higher relative to everyone else. Simple math.
Yes, very much simple math. Because now your car is an appreciating asset value, and now that holds more value than your gas-powered vehicle because it can make you money. That's the whole reason why I got these cars. I want AI to work for me, not AI to take me down and not conform with it, because this is the way to go. And I'm taking a big risk. As I said, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm just taking a huge risk. And I want to take this risk because I want technology to be in my advantage for it for later. Okay. All right, guys. That's all for tonight that we have. I'll try to be on Saturday night. I don't know if I will, but Saturday I will be TikTok live in the car doing Uber rides for 14 hours. I will be out there all night. So if you guys want to ride with me then throughout Las Vegas, giving Robotaxi rides in my car from point A to point B, please join in. I will be live all day for those 12 to 14 hours. And when I'm waiting on rides, I will see what questions you guys have, and we'll go over the questions. And next week, I said in the video that I'm going to try to make a video on how much I make for rideshare, right, for the week. So I'm going to be full transparent on it, especially if I say pay for food or pay for supercharge or whatever the case may be, all of my expenses, just to kind of see. I'll try to throw in the charging from home on there so you guys can get a rough perspective on what it is, how much I made. I'll even supercharge maybe even once a day to kind of give you a ballpark figure, right? Thanks for the follow, guys. I appreciate it. So next time I'll see you guys will be